Well, hello there, friends, and thank you for joining me today. It's an exciting time to be together. God is doing great things in the church and outside of the church all over the world. And this is a time where each day is different and we can watch what goes on. And it's always historically significant. Anyway, I hope that you are well. And I appreciate you joining us for this ministry moment. I'd like to talk today about the miracle in the gas station. Now, I think we miss a lot of God's miracles. Some have called them minor miracles because they're not like walking on water or lifting a mountain and telling it to go over there. They're much smaller than that. But I think they're as much of a miracle as anything we read in scriptures. Well, I think we miss a lot of those because God works through people to do many of his miracles. And this story is a case in point. It took place in a strange little suburb, but it's got a beautiful name, Apple Valley, Minnesota. And many of you, I'm sure, are familiar with Minnesota winters. That one was no exception. It was about 10 degrees. So this fellow, driving to work, stopped to get gas in his car. And while the car was filling up, you know how we do, we kind of lean against it and look around. Well, he did that, and he saw a man standing in front of one of the adjacent pumps, crying. And so I think God took over at that point, but not that the man knew it. However, he did go over to this stranger and say, "What's the matter?" He said, "I was just looking at these prices, and there's no way that I can do them." And he said that he just couldn't. That he didn't have enough money because he had lost his job. His wife was sitting in the front seat of the car, and two teenage girls huddling under a blanket were sitting in the back seat. So obviously, they had lost not only a job, but probably a home. And they needed gas. Well, without thinking, the man said, he took his credit card out of his pocket. Fortunately, he had just finished filling his own. And he put it in the fellow's tank, paid for his gas, and told him to fill it up. And while he was doing this, and he said this is terribly out of context for him, he said, "Jesus Christ, the Son of God, told me to do this, and he died to provide for us." And when he said that, something came alive in the man's expression. He was in shock, so much so that he forgot how to pump. Well, at the same moment, his wife got out of the front seat of the car, and she looked to see what was going on, and she was completely flabbergasted. She was wearing pants that were dirty and torn. And his husband said, "Come here, let me show you the car." Well, of course, she thought the worst. Well, it turns out that this man who just drove up and then offered his credit card had cleaned out his garage and closets, and he had a lot of old clothes in the back of the car. So he opened the back of the car and he said, I want you guys to just take whatever you need. They're old clothes. I was taking them to the Goodwill. Help yourself. And the lady ran back to the car and told her two daughters to come out. They were in sweatpants and a t-shirt. And so they came out and they started going through the pile and looking at it, and the man looked through it and the woman looked through it and pushed clothes all around to find exactly what was the right thing. And this attracted attention, as you might think. There was an older man there who bought a gas gift card right there on the spot and gave it to the man who had nothing. There was another fellow who took his coat and gave it to the wife. So before you knew it, they went from people with nothing to people who had something, thanks to God. And the man commented after it was over, never in my life did I think I would see this kind of thing happen at a gas station with a handful of complete strangers. My friends, when God moves, he does so in such a way to change things. I pray that he'll move in your life this day. I also, given that it's Memorial Day weekend, want to encourage you to remember those people who died so that we might enjoy our freedom and retain it. And if you have loved ones who you still mourn over, perhaps, who died in defense of the country, or if you know somebody that's police, fire department, EMT, keep them in your prayers as well. We honor them in their service to the country. And I hope you'll have a wonderful weekend. Blessings.